Hi, I'm Dave Bearman. I'm a doctor. I practice in Santa Barbara, California, and I'm running for the 3rd District Supervisor seat. This is an important seat in Santa Barbara County. We have a board that's split 3-2, and this is the swing seat in terms of progressive kinds of policies. What I want to do is demonstrate that somebody who's closely associated with the field of medical marijuana has a political asset, not a political liability. As a physician, I do pain management, and I'm noted for doing recommendations or evaluations to make recommendations for the medical use of marijuana. At least 60 doctors in the Santa Barbara area have referred one or more patients to me for recommendation for medical cannabis. I've got an enthusiastic patient population, have the support of the UCSB chapter of NORML, and have a lot of people who know me for my good works in the area for a long time. I started a community clinic in Isla Vista in 1970. It's still going. It merged with 2 other clinics about 7 years ago to form the Santa Barbara Neighborhood Clinics. I taught the first course on human sexuality at UCSB. I also taught another course, the first course on drug pharmacology and physiology relating to recreational drugs. And most recently, I taught a course on demons, discrimination, and dollars, the origins of American drug policy. Our drug policy is only logical when you realize that it's based on illogic, and that illogic has to do with trying to marginalize them. And one of the things that I point out in my course and in my book is that them has been just about all of us. It's been the Irish, it's been the Native Americans, it's been the Germans, it's been the Catholics, it's been the Protestants, and that was long before it became the Mexicans and the blacks. So I think that we need to bring a compassionate sense to our policies and our politics. I'm not running on a marijuana platform at all. I'm running on a platform that I am the most qualified candidate. I've served in public office, elective office, for more than 20 years. I've worked at every level of government. I ran the Student Health Center at San Diego State. I worked in the regional office of the United States Public Health Service. I was the director of the Sutter County Health Department, and the list goes on and on. I don't want to bore the people that are watching. We need to support those politicians who support our issue. We need to get politicians to see that 70 to 80% of Americans endorse the medicinal use of marijuana. We need to recognize that we are wasting tens of billions of dollars a year on American tax money down the rat hole that we call American drug policy. Our American drug policy is contrary to the Constitution. It's contrary to solid American values. And this comes out when I talk. I talk about my character. I talk about standing up to the Medical Board of California to protect the privacy rights of one of my patients. I had to sue the medical board in order to do that. And after 3 years and tens of thousands of dollars, we prevailed on a 3-0 decision before the appellate court in California. That decision was not reviewed by the Supreme Court, and therefore we set a precedent that the medical board can't just go on a fishing expedition in order to keep on with their witch hunt, trying to force doctors who are practicing perfectly good medicine not to recommend cannabis when we have every good reason in the world to do so. My campaign has been well received. I'm getting lots of contributions, mostly small. I'd like some big ones, and I've gotten a few. One of my top supporters is David Crosby, formerly of Crosby, Stills and Nash. I also got some funds from Peter Lewis, who's the billionaire that supports the Marijuana Policy Project. And there's a local landlord from Isla Vista who's also contributing a fair share to the campaign. But basically, I'm getting checks for $20, $50, $100 to support the campaign. And sadly, as the late Jesse Unruh, who was once the Assembly Speaker here in California, said, money is a mother's milk of politics. I hope that I'm elected. I know that I'm going to do well. We expect about 17,000 people to vote in this election. If I turn out 3,000 or 4,000 people in Isla Vista, the student community, to vote for me, I will, at the very least, make it into the runoff in the fall and be elected to the Board of Supervisors in November. And anybody who's watching this, you might want to check my website, David Bearman, 4 supervisor.com. You can also find me on the web at davidbearmanmd.com. I've done a lot of education to the general public, a lot of speaking, trying to get people to recognize that there is hard science behind the medicinal use of cannabis. And of course, I've seen a couple of thousand people, many of whom bring tears to my eyes when I hear about their medical problems, both physical and mental, and the benefits that they get from cannabis. Thanks very much for having me on camera here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Doctor.